Let us begin with a moment of stillness. Picture the earliest part of morning, kind of morning that comes quietly. With a cool breeze at the window and soft light stretching across the floor. For a few seconds, the world holds its breath. Hey there. Is no rush yet? No phone ringing? No footsteps in the hallway? Maybe you're sitting at the edge of your bed, feeling the ground beneath your feet, hands gently folded in your lap. Or perhaps you're already up, savoring that first sip of tea or coffee, the warmth filling your chest as you gaze out at a familiar tree, a courtyard, or simply the quiet glow of the room. For some, these moments are filled with gratitude. For others, they are tinged with a question, or even a worry and awareness that something in the body has shifted. There's a heaviness in the knees, a twinge in the ankle, a fatigue in the legs that wasn't there 10 years ago. Maybe you catch yourself planning your day around how your legs will feel. Will I be able to take that walk today? Will the stairs be too much? Will I need to rest after shopping or after cooking? Or even after standing up to greet a guest? At the door? If this is your story, you are not alone. We live in a world that often talks about youth, excitement of firsts, the energy of growth, the promise of possibility. Yet, as the years accumulate, so too do wisdom, resilience, and the quiet beauty of a life well lived. There is so much power and richness in this later season of life. But there are also challenge zones that are whispered in the small aches, the slow mornings, and sometimes in the doubts that visit us late at night. You may have tried many things to reclaim strength and comfort. Perhaps you have filled your cabinet with vitamins, lined your kitchen with health foods. Listen to advice from friends, family, television, and the internet. Maybe you have wondered, am I doing enough? Am I making mistakes I can't see? Maybe, on a hard day. You have even wondered if decline is inevitable and there's nothing more to be done. But here's what I want to offer you at the very start of our journey together. The story of your legs, your strength, your comfort, and your joy is not finished. There are pages unwritten, still full of hope, change, and possibility. Aging is not a one-way street, but a dance between adaptation and renewal. The body is constantly sending messages, asking for care, for attention. For gentle shifts, not as punishment, but as a celebration of life itself. Let's take a breath together. Okay. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let it out with a sense of release. Imagine setting down, even briefly, any burdens of regret or fear. Picture yourself as both student and teacher, learning from your past, but guiding your present with new curiosity. Over the next hour, I invite you to see your body not as a problem to be fixed, but as a trusted companion, a storyteller, and a wise friend. Every ache, every moment of tiredness, every step that feels just a bit heavier is not a sign of failure, but an invitation. Come closer. Listen to what I need now. Let's find a new way together. This is not just a talk about vitamins or a list of foods to avoid. It is a journey into understanding kind of understanding that comes with a lifetime of experience, reflection, and the courage to begin again. Imagine for a moment the elders you admire who walk with confidence, who move through life with grace, who meet each day with optimism. What sets them apart? It is rarely perfection or strict discipline. More often, it is their willingness to listen to their bodies, to adapt with the seasons, to keep learning and growing, even as the world tells them to slow down. It is their commitment to kindness toward themselves, their loved ones, and even their own changing muscles and bones. Let me share a memory. When I was a child, my grandmother would rise before dawn every day, stretch her arms overhead, and greet the sun. She moved slowly, but each movement was deliberate, like a kind of dance. Her breakfast was simply fen, a bowl of fresh fruit, some warm soup, a piece of bread from the market. Sometimes she'd let me help, slicing apples, peeling sweet potatoes, listening to her stories as the kitchen filled with the smells of breakfast. She did not worry about calories or supplements. She paid attention to what made her feel light and strong, and she taught me, without words, the power of gentleness. As she aged, she began to notice changes. Her knees stiffening in winter, her legs growing weary after climbing stairs. But she did not give in to despair. She simply shifted, walking more slowly, adding more leafy greens to her meals, resting when her body asked her to. She would say, "Your body is your oldest friend. Treat it with respect, and it will carry you through many more seasons." This lesson stayed with me. It reminds me, and I hope it will remind youth, health in later life is not about chasing youth, but about deepening the friendship between your mind, your spirit, and your body. It's about seeing every day as a chance to make choices that bring you joy, energy, and connection. In the chapters ahead, we will explore how two of the most commonly praised vitamins A and D can quietly become dangerous when misunderstood or overused, especially for those over 60. We'll talk honestly about the foods that sneak into our routines and steal our strength. We'll shine a gentle light on habits that can either drain us or restore us. Most importantly, we'll share stories of elders who found new paths to well-being, of practical shifts that made all the difference, and of the hope that never grows old. You'll discover not just the what and why, but the how. How to tune into your body's signals, how to replace old habits with new rituals, and how to savor the pleasure of food and movement without fear or regret. Along the way, we'll laugh, reflect, and dream together. So, as you listen, let yourself be open, not just to information, but to inspiration. Imagine yourself waking tomorrow with a little more lightness, a little more curiosity. Picture your legs growing stronger, your steps more confident, your heart filled with the quiet excitement of new possibility. Remember, there is no too late. Every day is a doorway to change. Every choice, no matter how small, is a chance to nurture your strength, your independence, and your joy. Let's walk this path together. Your body is ready to tell you what it needs. All you have to do is listen, gently and bravely, and trust that every step forward is worth celebrating. Are you ready? Let's begin the journey to reclaiming strength, comfort, and the freedom to live fully at any age. Let us begin at the break of day, when the house is silent, the world still, and you sit quietly, perhaps with a warm cup of tea or coffee. For a brief moment, you notice your legs as you stand. You paw gentle ache, a sense of heaviness, maybe even a stiffness that didn't used to be there. Some mornings, you might try to shrug it off, blaming the weather, your mattress, or just getting older. But deep down, there is a whisper, a question. Is this inevitable? Is there more I could do? If you're over 60, these sensations are not strangers. They are, in fact, common visitors in the later chapters of life. Yet, what if these physical whispers were not just signs of decline, but messages, urgent invitations to pay closer attention to your body's real needs? You see, wisdom often comes quietly. It comes in the pauses between our routines, in the discomfort we sometimes try to ignore, and in the quiet courage it takes to wonder if the path we're on is truly the best one for us. The truth is, the journey of aging is not simply about the passage of years, but about the accumulation of choice-sustaining decisions made day after day, about what we eat, how we move, how we rest, and, perhaps most importantly, how we listen to ourselves. I remember my own grandfather, who lived to 93. He used to say, "The body never lies. It only speaks in a language we must learn." In his younger days, he was strong and agile, a farmer who would rise before dawn, walk fields, and climb trees for fruit. But as he aged, his steps grew slower, his knees less willing. At first, he blamed age, but then he began to notice. On days when he ate fresh food from his garden and drank clear water, he felt more alive. On days filled with sweets from the town bakery, or when he tried the newest supplement recommended by friends, his legs felt like lead. "Pay attention," he told me. "Your body always keeps the score." It is tempting, especially in this modern world, to reach for easy fixes. The shelves at every pharmacy are overflowing with vitamins, pills, and powders, each promising youth, energy, and vitality. Well-meaning advice from friends, advertisements on television, health articles, online, they all urge us to take this, or add that to our daily routine. Yet, few people warn us that, in excess or without true understanding, even the most praised nutrients and habits can quietly do more harm than good. This is the gentle warning Gand, the great hope of today's message. We will talk not just about what to avoid, but about how to listen, how to choose, and how to rediscover strength and joy. No matter your age, let's begin by considering the very nature of aging. Growing older is a privilege, a chance to gather wisdom, to see children and grandchildren grow, to savor the beauty of each new sunrise. Yet it is also a time when the body becomes more sensitive, less forgiving of carelessness or neglect. What you once could eat or do without a thought may now bring discomfort, fatigue, or pain. This isn't a punishment. It's an invitation to adapt, to live with greater awareness and kindness toward yourself. A woman named Annette once told me, "When I was young, I could eat a chocolate cake and dance all night. Now, a single slice means swollen ankles and restless sleep." Annette's story is universal. As we age, our metabolism slows. Our bodies lose muscle mass more quickly and store fat more easily. Blood sugar spikes more sharply, and it takes longer for inflammation to settle down. What once brought only pleasure, a sweet treat, a fried snack, an extra glass of Winnecan, now bring aches, stiffness, or even a stumble on the stairs. Yet the answer is not to erase all joy or to retreat in fear from every food you once loved. Instead, it is to become a curious student of your own body, to learn its signals, and to respond with care, not with punishment. In truth, the path to vitality in later life is not built on deprivation or endless rules, but on gentle attention and wise choices. Let's talk for a moment about habits, the invisible architecture of our days. By 60, 70, or 80, most of us have patterns so ingrained they feel as natural as breathing. Morning toast, a midday sweet, a glass of something special in the evening. The brands of bread and cheese we buy, the quick meals we reach. For when tired, the vitamins or supplements we take because someone told us they were good for seniors. Each habit, repeated over time, weaves itself into the fabric of our body, either building resilience or quietly wearing us down. Here's a little story. My neighbor, Mr. La, was a sprightly man, even in his late 70s. He prided himself on his independence and loved to share his secret with anyone who asked. "It's my daily vitamin routine," he would say, showing a row of shiny bottles on his kitchen shelf. For years, he took extra vitamin A and D, believing more was always better. Yet, over time, he began to notice nagging muscle cramps, aching legs, and a heaviness that refused to go away. When his doctor finally tested his blood, they found excesses, not deficiencies. The very vitamins he believed would keep him strong were quietly weakening his legs, disturbing his nerves, and interfering with his natural balance. Mr. La's story is a reminder our bodies need balance, not excess. We need nourishment, not just supplementation. What serves us in moderation can, in excess, become a subtle thief of strength. As we begin this journey together, let's make a promise Senate of perfection, but of presence. Let's agree to listen, to reflect, to experiment, and to choose with care. In the coming parts, we will explore the most common habits, foods and supplements that, after 60, often do more harm than good, especially to our precious legs and joints. We'll look at why these habits became so common, how they impact the body, and most importantly, how to gently shift toward choices that restore strength, reduce pain, and bring back the joy of movement. You are not alone in this. Every elder I have ever met has faced these questions, made these mistakes, and when given the tools found new energy, hope, and freedom. Whether you are listening for yourself, for a loved one, or for the many seniors in your life, know that it is never too late to begin again. Let's move forward with curiosity and compassion. Let's explore together, step by step, the path back to strong legs, steady steps, and the kind of health that lets you savor every precious day ahead. Let us look closely now at the first of the silent saboteurs in our daily diet: sugar. For many, sugar is the taste of comfort, of reward, of shared celebration. A slice of cake at a family gathering, cookies warm from the oven, handed to grandchildren. With a smile, perhaps a spoonful of honey in your morning tea, or a soft drink sipped on a hot afternoon. These rituals are woven into our life, symbols of love, care, and tradition. But as we age, the story of sugar changes. In childhood, we could run off a feast of sweets, our bodies resilient and forgiving. Yet after 60, the rules shift. Muscles lose some of their power. Insulin hormone that helps move sugar from blood into our cells becomes less effective. The body's quiet warning signs grow louder. Let me share a story from my practice. Mrs. Helen, age 70, had always prided herself on her hospitality. Her home was never without treats. Candies for the postman, sweet buns for her grandchildren, a dish of dried fruit for guests. But one spring, she noticed her legs felt heavier, her steps slower. Her nights were interrupted by muscle cramps, and her knees ached after walking even short distances. At first, Mrs. Helen blamed old age, but together we looked at her habits. Her meals were balanced. To bite the sweets, though small, were frequent. I gently suggested she keep a diary for a week. What she found surprised her. Almost every hour, a small bite of something sweet. These little joys, harmless on their own, were adding up to a heavy burden. So what does sugar do to the aging body? When consumed in excess, especially in its refined forms, white sugar, candy, sweetened drinks, it raises blood sugar rapidly, then drops it just as fast. The muscles, especially those in the legs, experience this as fatigue and weakness. Over time, high blood sugar damages the tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and joints. This silent erosion leads to slower healing, more inflammation, and the tired, achy legs so many seniors report. But that's not all. Excess sugar increases insulin resistance, a condition where your muscles can no longer easily absorb the energy they need. The result: legs that feel like they are walking through sand, heavy and easily fatigued. Over years, sugar also adds pounds, increasing the load your knees, hips, and ankles must bear. It becomes a cycle. More weight means more pain, less movement, less muscle, and even greater difficulty controlling blood sugar. Now, let's talk about the sweet things that hide in plain sight. The breakfast cereal labeled whole grain, the flavored yogurt in your fridge, the packaged bread on your counter. So many foods marketed as healthy are quietly loaded with sugar. Even those sugar-free options often replace sugar with artificial sweeteners, which can further disturb your body's natural signals, sometimes triggering hunger or digestive upset. Some will say, "But I love sweet salad. I give them up forever." My answer is gentle and simple. Not necessarily. What you need is not punishment, but presence. When you choose something sweet, choose with full awareness. Enjoy fruit, nature's original desaturic fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. Berries, oranges, even a crisp apple can satisfy and heal, not harm. For those times when you want a special treat, consider making it at home, where you control the ingredients. A cake made with whole grain flour and fresh fruit. A batch of oatmeal cookies sweetened lightly with honey. Let sweetness be an occasional delight, not a daily crutch. And what of those industrial cakes, cookies, pastries, and candies that fill the supermarket aisles? Beyond their sugar content, they often hide trans fats, preservatives, and artificial flavor substances that quietly stoke the fires of inflammation in your body. After 60, this chronic low-level inflammation makes your joints stiffer, your muscles slower to recover, and your nights more restless. A patient of mine, Mr. John, age 66, loved his packaged cookie essa nightly ritual with his tea. Yet, over time, he noticed his ankles swelling and his calves cramping at night. When he replaced the cookies with homemade nut bars and fruit, within a month, his swelling lessened, his cramps faded, and he found himself moving more freely with a smile. The lesson is not that joy must be given up, but that it must be chosen wisely. When you listen to your body, respect its new boundaries, and fill your days with mindful sweetness, you regain not just strength, but the simple pleasure of living in a body that feels alive. And so, as you move forward, ask yourself, where is sugar hiding in my day? How does my body feel after a treat? Can I choose to honor my cravings with foods that nourish rather than weaken the foundation of my legs and my life? We have talked of sugar, but it is only the first of many common foods that can undermine leg strength and well-being after 60. Next, let us turn to another group of hidden troublemakers: fried, processed, and convenient foods that so often fill our plates, especially in moments of fatigue, loneliness, or haste. Let us journey next into a kitchen filled with familiar scents, the sizzle of something frying, the golden crisp of battered chicken or fish, a warm plate of fries shared on a busy day. Fried food, so beloved for their taste and comfort to carry with them memories of childhood treats, family gatherings, or simple pleasures at the corner shop. For many, a donut with coffee or a plate of fried snacks is a comfort, a routine, a reward after a long week. Yet with each passing year, the body's relationship to fried food quietly changes. I remember visiting my friend Mr. Tom in his small apartment. Every Friday, he would treat himself to a meal from the local takeaway: crispy chicken, fried dumplings, and sometimes a sugary drink on the side. I know it's not the healthiest, he'd laugh, but it makes me feel young. Yet as months went by, he noticed something new. His legs felt heavier after each meal. Climbing stairs took more effort. Nights brought more stiffness in his knees and ankles. Why does this happen? The answer lies beneath the surface. Fried foods are loaded with trans fats and saturated fat substances that do more than just add inches to your waistline. After the age of 60, these fats ignite a slow, silent fire inside the body called inflammation. Unlike the swelling and redness you see when you bump your shin, this inflammation is hidden. It burrows deep into the joints and muscles, especially in the legs, tightening and stiffening them with every bite. The trouble does not stop there. Fried foods constrict your blood vessels, making it harder for your heart to send oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. Poor circulation means your legs tire quickly, recover slowly, and become vulnerable to cramps or even dangerous clots. The very food you reach for when feeling tired or low on energy becomes the culprit that drains your energy even further. Consider this. After a meal rich in fried foods, have you ever noticed yourself feeling sluggish, almost weighed down? That is not your imagination. Your body diverts huge amounts of energy to digest these heavy fats. Instead of nourishing your muscles, the food saps your strength, making you less steady, less quick, less resilient. And there is more. The habit of fried food often comes with another companion: processed meats. Sausages, bacon, ham, deli slices. These foods are full of sodium, chemical preservatives, and artificial flavors. They may seem harmless in a sandwich or a breakfast plate, but over time, they feed inflammation, stiffen blood vessels, can make the work of your heart and muscles even harder. A patient of mine, Ms. Mary, loved her bacon and eggs for breakfast. It was a tradition she cherished, a comfort from her younger days. But at 72, she found her blood pressure rising, her ankles swelling, her legs cramping at night. When she swapped the bacon for a small portion of grilled fish and added steamed vegetables, the change was almost immediate: lighter legs, better sleep, and a sense of energy she had forgotten. We eat not only with our mouths, but with our emotions and memories. This is why habits can be so difficult to break, especially those connected to warmth, comfort, or togetherness. Yet, just as these habits were built, they can be gently shifted. Begin with small changes, instead of deep frying. Try baking, grilling, or steaming. Instead of processed meats, choose eggs, lean poultry, or plant-based proteins. A handful of nuts, a slice of avocado, or a bowl of beans can bring richness and satisfaction without the silent harm. Another story, Mr. Adams, a retiree who adored his Sunday fried treats, felt that life would lose its color without them. We made a deal. For every fried meal he wanted, he would first enjoy a big salad of fresh greens and tomatoes. The results surprised him. Not only did he feel fuller and eat less fried food, but his joints ached less and he could walk longer. With his grandchildren in the park, remember, the food you choose is the building block of your legs and your independence. Every meal is a chance to heal or to harm, to restore balance or to tip it further away. Fried and processed foods do not have to vanish from your life forever, but let them become rare treats, not daily staples. Allow your table to become a place of creativity and new memories. Invite family or friends to try a new recipe with you. Roast vegetables with herbs, grill a piece of fish, or try homemade baked potato wedges. With each meal, you are teaching your body that you care, that you are listening, that you want your legs to carry you strong and free into the future. In the next part, we'll explore another subtle but powerful force that can either sap or restore your strength. The role of bread, alcohol, and the seemingly innocent foods and drinks that shape your day. Now, let us wander into the quiet moments of daily routine. Its slice of bread toasted golden each morning, the gentle clink of a glass in the evening, the unhurried comfort of foods and drinks we may hardly notice, but which shape our bodies over time. Bread, for many of us, is not just food. It is memory, warm, familiar, a piece of childhood tucked between the crust and crumb. Perhaps you grew up with soft white loaves, fresh from the bakery, or homemade by caring hands. A piece of toast with butter and jam to start the day, a sandwich for lunch. Bread at every table, everywhere you traveled. But as the years gather, the bread we reach for is often the same white, refined loaf we have always loved, soft, easy, familiar. Few realize that beneath this simplicity, white bread is stripped of the fiber and nutrients that feed strong muscles. Made from flour so finely milled, it digests almost instantly. White bread spikes your blood sugar and then lets it crash. This roller coaster steals energy from your muscles, especially those in your legs, leaving them tired and unsteady. The loss is quiet but deep. The body, especially after 60, is already fighting to maintain muscle mass. When you fill your plate with empty calories bread that offers little protein, no magnesium, almost no vitamin C, widen the gap between what your muscles need and what they actually get. You may notice it as a fading of the strength that once let you climb stairs, balance on uneven ground, or get up from your chair without effort. My friend, Ms. Jessie, shared with me how she once believed bread was harmless, a gentle way to fill her belly without fuss. Yet after a year of daily white bread, she found her legs weakening and her balance fading. It was only when she discovered whole grain bread-ends with seeds, oats, and natural fermentation that she felt a change. Her energy rose, her steps grew steadier, and the heaviness in her calves began to lift. The lesson is not to give up bread entirely, but to choose it with care. Whole grain loaves, dark and hearty, work with your body. They slow the rise of blood sugar, provide fiber for digestion, and offer minerals that muscles and nerves crave. Pair your bread with protein: a boiled egg, a slice of turkey, a smear of avocado. Each bite then becomes a step toward stability, not away from it. Now, let us talk of something else that so often slips unnoticed into our days: alcohol. A glass of wine at dinner, a cold beer on a summer evening, a toast at a family celebration. These are rituals of connection, of celebration, of ease. For many, they bring memories of laughter and shared joy. But after 60, alcohol's gentle touch becomes heavier, more demanding. With age, the body's ability to process alcohol declines. The same drink that once left you relaxed now lingers, slowing your reflexes, dulling your senses, and most importantly, for your legs, stealing nutrients vital for movement. Alcohol interrupts the absorption of calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. These are the building blocks of muscle contraction, bone strength, and nerve health. Without them, the risk of cramps, weakness, and even dangerous falls grows ever higher. I remember Mr. Michael, who loved his small glass of rice wine each night. Over the years, he found his legs aching, his balance wavering, and his nights disrupted by cramps. When his doctor asked about his diet, he insisted he ate well. Only later did he realize that the nightly drink, small though it was quietly eroding his foundation. By swapping his ritual for a calming herbal tea and adding magnesium-rich foods to his meals, his nights became more restful and his days more sure-footed. Alcohol's effects extend beyond nutrition. It dehydrates the body, leaving muscles less flexible and prone to spasms. It burdens the liver, which is responsible for clearing toxins and synthesizing many of the nutrients your muscles require. It also weakens sleep, robbing you of the deep rest that restores strength after a long day. None of this means you must refuse every toast or live without small pleasures. It is a call to balance, savor special moments, but to let water, herbal teas, and nutrient-rich drinks become your daily companions. Let us not forget the foods we reach for when tired, hurried, or seeking comfort: instant noodles, salty snacks, processed cheeses. These too offer little in the way of real nourishment. Instead, they bring excess salt and preservatives, which hold water in your tissues, leaving your legs swollen and heavy. Their empty calories displace the wholesome foods your muscles long for, slowly draining your strength. I recall a group of seniors in my community who gathered each Thursday to share stories and snacks. For years, their table was filled with crackers, chips, and processed cheese. As many of them began to notice swelling in their ankles and a sense of fatigue, they decided to change together. They brought roasted nuts, sliced fruit, yogurt, and whole grain bread to their gatherings. Within weeks, they found themselves chatting longer, moving more easily, and even venturing out for walks after their meetings. What these stories reveal is simple, everyday foods, innocent in appearance, can quietly shape the future of your strength and independence. With mindful change, even the smallest meal becomes an act of care. Every glass, every slice, every bite, when chosen with love and wisdom, can help you walk further, stand taller, and enjoy the world with open arms. In our next part, we'll turn to the hidden world of additives, ESOs, chemicals, and enhancers, especially MSG and artificial sweeteners that slip into so many modern foods and quietly disturb the harmony of your body. In today's fast-moving world, it's tempting to trust what comes conveniently packaged, brightly colored, and easily stored. Supermarket shelves are lined with foods that promise rich flavor, long shelf life, and effortless meals. But for those of us who wish to move freely, to enjoy every step and every sunrise, we must learn to see beyond labels and look with curiosity at what we truly eat. There is a hidden world within processed foods, a world of additives, flavor enhancers, and artificial sweeteners. Their names may be unfamiliar, but their impact on the aging body is all too real. Let's begin with monosodium glutamate, or MSG, flavor enhancer found in ready-made soups, instant noodles, seasoning packets, frozen meals, and even restaurant dishes. Its purpose is simple: to make food taste richer, meatier, more satisfying. But the story does not end with taste. As we age, our nervous system becomes more sensitive, our muscles and nerves more easily disturbed. MSG, for some, can disrupt the delicate signals that tell our muscles when to contract, relax, and rest. Some notice tingling in their legs after eating certain takeout foods. Others report headaches, stiffness, or a sense of heaviness in their limbs. These are not mysteries. They are the body's way of saying, "This does not belong." A friend. Mrs. Carroll used to love her weekly bowl of instant noodles, flavored with a packet rich in MSG and salt. But she noticed her legs would twitch at night, sometimes even cramp. It took time, but when she began to cook her own meal using ginger, garlic, fresh herbs, and a touch of soy sauce, instead, her symptoms softened. "I never knew it could make such a difference," she told me, with relief in her voice. MSG is only one of many hidden substances. Artificial sweeteners, such as aspartame, sucralose, or saccharin, are often found in sugar-free products, drinks, light yogurt, packaged cookies. These chemicals trick the tongue into sensing sweetness, but offer the body nothing real. For some, they disturb the gut, causing bloating, discomfort, or a strange, lingering hunger. For others, they affect mood, sleep, and, yes, even muscle function. The challenge is that these additives rarely announce themselves. On packaging, they may be called flavor enhancer, hydrolyzed protein, or even yeast extract. Artificial sweeteners are sometimes buried in a list of unfamiliar words. The best protection is not to memorize every name, but to return to simple, real foods whenever possible. Another hidden threat is sodium plain salt, but in amounts that sneak up on us. In canned soups, sauces, processed meats, snacks, and even breads, the salt adds up quickly. In small amounts, sodium is necessary. But when we eat too much, our bodies retain water. The result? Swollen ankles, heavy calves, and a sense of tiredness in the legs that is all too familiar. Let's not forget preservatives, dyes, and stabilizer chemicals designed to keep food looking fresh and tasting consistent, no matter how long it sits on a shelf. These additives may irritate the liver and kidneys, the organs that filter toxins and maintain the mineral balance your muscles need. Over time, these hidden substances increase inflammation, burden your body, and make movement less joyful. Some of you may be thinking, "I don't have time to cook from scratch," or "I live alone, and it's easier to buy what's ready-made." I understand. Convenience is important, especially when energy and mobility are limited. But even small changes can make a world of difference. Choose fresh or frozen vegetables over canned. Select unsweetened yogurt and add your own fruit. Read labels and choose products with fewer ingredients and words you recognize. In a senior community I know, the residents started a small food swap. Once a week, they shared simple recipes and traded homemade snacks for store-bought ones. At first, it was just a bit of fun, a way to socialize and try new things. But as the months passed, they noticed fewer leg cramps, less swelling, and a renewed energy for group walks and games. The body responds quickly to kindness, especially in the form of real, nourishing food. Even if you must use packaged foods, balance them with the real fresh fruits, a handful of nuts, a simple soup made at home, or a salad dressed with olive oil and lemon. Let the artificial become the exception, not the rule. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but presence. Each meal is a conversation with your body, a chance to listen, learn, and adjust. If you feel bloated, stiff, or tired after eating something from a package, take note. If you feel strong and light after a simple meal of whole ingredients, let that be your guide. As we move forward, we must also talk honestly about supplementary vitamins we take with hope, but which, in excess, can quietly tip the scales from help to harm. In the next part, we will explore the double-edged sword of vitamins A and D and how wise choice guided by knowledge. Not fear can restore, rather than erode, the strength in your legs and your life. We live in an era where shelves overflow with bottles promising vitality, multivitamins, supplements, and pills for every concern. It's easy to believe that more is better, that if a little of something is good, a lot must be great. And for decades, we've been told that vitamins A and D are the guardians of health. A for sharp eyes and healthy skin, D for strong bones and immunity. Doctors, television ads, friends, and family all sing their praises, especially for those of us over 60. But here's a quiet truth, often whispered by wise elders and now confirmed by science. In the world of nutrition, balance is everything. What is a medicine in the right dose can become a poison in excess precisely as our bodies change with age. Let's begin with vitamin A. This nutrient is essential for vision, immunity, and keeping our skin and the linings of our body healthy. But after 60, our liver's ability to process and clear excess vitamin A is not what it once was. Vitamin A from supplements and fortified foods can build up in the body over time. The earliest warning signs are often subtle: muscle pain, especially in the legs and lower back, mysterious cramps, and a dull ache that lingers even after a good night's sleep. Some may notice dry, itchy skin, or a sense of fatigue that can't be explained away by a busy day. What many don't realize is that excess vitamin A can also block the absorption of two other vital minerals, magnesium and calcium. These are the silent workers that allow your muscles to contract, your bones to stay firm, and your nerves to fire smoothly. Without them, the risk of cramps, muscle weakness, and even fractures climbs higher. Mr. John, a gentleman I met at a local walking group, believed strongly in taking extra vitamins for old age. For years, he'd started each morning with a multivitamin and an additional high-dose vitamin A capsule, just to be sure. Over time, he developed deep, stubborn leg cramps and a fatigue that didn't match his otherwise healthy lifestyle. It was only after careful blood tests and a review of his habits that the truth emerged. His body was holding on to more vitamin A than it could use. With guidance, he switched to getting his nutrients from food: carrots, pumpkin, a bit of liver. Now and then, let go of the pills. In a few months, his energy and comfort began to return. And then there is vitamin D, the most talked about vitamin for seniors. Doctors prescribe it. Health magazines tout its benefits, and it's added to milks, cereals, and juices everywhere. It's true. Vitamin D is critical for absorbing calcium, keeping bones strong, and supporting immunity. But here's the challenge: vitamin D is fat-soluble, not water-soluble. This means your body stores what it doesn't immediately use, tucking it away in fat cells, muscles, and organs. What happens if you take too much? At first, you may feel nothing. Over weeks and months, though, problems begin to creep in. Blood calcium can rise too high, causing confusion, muscle pain, burning in the legs, or persistent cramps. Sometimes joints grow stiff. Sometimes nerves tingle. In severe cases, soft tissues, including the tendons and muscles in your legs, can become calcified, losing their flexibility and increasing your risk of injury. Let's meet Mrs. Helen, who lived by the sea and loved the sun, but worried about her bones as she aged. After a routine checkup, her doctor recommended a vitamin D supplement. Encouraged by friends, she began taking double and triple the dose, believing it would keep her strong. A year later, she struggled with a burning sensation in her thighs and knees, along with muscle cramps that made walking painful. A careful review revealed her vitamin D levels were much too high. With a reduction in supplements and a return to gentle walks outside, her symptoms gradually improved. Why do these problems sneak up on so many? First, the marketing of supplements is powerful, and our desire to do everything possible for our health is understandable. Second, as we get older, our bodies process, absorb, and clear nutrients differently than they once did. What is safe for a 40-year-old may overwhelm a 70-year-old, it is important to say. Deficiencies of vitamin D and A do exist. And 4. Some people, supplements are necessary, and life-ingestibly in cases of medical need, limited sun exposure, or restricted diets. But for many, especially those who eat a varied diet and spend time outside, extra supplements are not only unnecessary, but can quietly erode strength, especially in the legs. So what is the answer? Awareness and testing. If you are considering or already taking supplements, ask your doctor for a blood test before starting or increasing your dose. Take only what is needed by evidence, not advertisements or the choices of friends. Choose food first. For vitamin A, carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, pumpkin, and occasional eggs or liver are more than enough. For vitamin D, save sun. Exposure, eggs, mushrooms, and fortified foods can often meet your needs. Supplements, when needed, should be taken in moderate, carefully prescribed doses, not just in case. Finally, trust the language of your body. If you notice new cramps, heaviness in your legs, burning sensations, or bone pain, speak up. These are not just signs of getting old. They may be quiet calls for balance and attention. Let your new motto be, not more, but enough. Not excess, but balance. Not blind faith in pills, but gentle confidence in your own wisdom and the power of natural food. In our final part, we will weave together everything you've learned and offer a practical, inspiring path forward a daily approach to eating and living that supports strong legs, calm nerves, and the vibrant independence you so richly deserve. As we come to the end of this journey, let us pause and reflect. The stories, the science, the gentle warnings are not meant to frighten or burden, but to awaken a deeper wisdom within us all. The journey to strong legs, steady steps, and a joyful spirit is not reserved for the young, nor for those untouched by hardship or mistake. It is a journey for every single person who is willing to listen, learn, and begin again, no matter their age, no matter their starting point. Consider for a moment how the body changes with each decade. The muscles and joints that once carried you effortlessly through childhood and youth begin to call for a different kind of care. In our 20s and 30s, we often ignore aches, push through fatigue, and trust our bodies to recover quickly. But after 60, the rules change. The small signals: heaviness in the legs, the cramp in the calf, the stiffness that greets you in the morning are no longer whispers. They are your body's way of saying, take notice. You matter. Your choices now are more important than ever. I have met so many elders who felt they had missed their chance. It's too late for me, they would say, or I've done too much damage. Yet, time and again, I have watched as the simplest of changes, made with patience and presence, brought new energy, confidence, and freedom. I think of Mrs. Martha, who after 70 years of sweetened tea and daily pastries, decided to start her mornings with oatmeal and berries. Or Mr. Andre, who traded his afternoon fried snack for a handful of nuts and a brisk walk with his neighbor. These small shifts, repeated day after day, became their new stories of resilience, of hope, of independence regained. Let's make this practical. Here is a simple, gentle roadmap for moving forward. You can start today without stress or overwhelm. 1. Listen first before changing anything. Spend a few days noticing how you feel after every meal and snack. Keep a small notebook or simply pause and ask, are my legs lighter or heavier? Do I feel energy or fatigue? Is my sleep peaceful or disrupted by cramps? 2. Swap with care. Choose one thing to change this week. If you usually eat white bread, try whole grain instead. If you love sweet drinks, infuse water with slices of lemon or fresh fruit. If fried foods are your comfort, explore baking, roasting, or grilling. 3. Mind the hidden ingredients. Start reading labels just a little. Look for MSG, artificial sweeteners, and unpronounceable additives. As much as possible, choose foods with fewer ingredients and names you recognize. 4. Rebalance, don't restrict. If you take vitamin A or D, talk to your doctor about testing your levels. Use supplements as tools, not as daily rituals, just in case. Trust your body's wisdom and seek nourishment from whole foods first. 5. Find new joy. Remember, pleasure is not the enemy, mindless habit is. Gather with friends or family to cook together. Try new recipes: roasted sweet potatoes, stir-fried greens, baked chicken with fresh herbs. Let laughter and creativity back onto your plate. 6. Move gently. Move often. Strength is not built overnight, nor is it lost in a single day. Stand up and stretch after each hour of sitting. Walk a little further than yesterday. Dance in the kitchen, or join a neighbor for a gentle stroll. Every step is a celebration of life. 7. Share your story. Healing is not a solitary path. Call a friend and share what you've learned. Invite someone for a healthy meal. Join a local class, a walking group, or an online community. You are never alone. Your journey can inspire and support others. 8. Rest and reflect. Each evening, pause and give thanks to your body for all it has carried, for every lesson it has taught you, for every possibility that remains ahead. Here is a story that stays with me always. Mr. Peter, in his 80s, was once a passionate cyclist. After years of health problems as falls, hospital stays, felt his cycling days were over. One day, after listening to his body and making small changes in his meals, he decided to try again. The first ride was short and slow. He persisted. He listened to his legs, ate nourishing foods, and refused to judge himself by old standards. 6 months later, he was riding every week, wind in his hair, a smile on his face. It's not about being young again, he said. It's about not giving up on what makes you feel alive. Let this be your lesson, your encouragement, your invitation. No matter your age, no matter your history, you can begin anew. Start with kindness. Start with curiosity. Let every meal, every movement, every breath be a step toward strength, balance, and joy. The past is not your prison. It is your teacher. The future is not a threat. It is a promise waiting to be written with your choices, your courage, and your care. If you have listened to this journey and felt a spark of hope, do not let it fade. Light it with action. Share what you've learned. Cook something nourishing. Go for a walk. Celebrate each tiny victory. And always remember, your legs are not just limbs. They are your foundation. They carry your dreams, your memories, your independence, and your laughter. Care for them. Thank them. Strengthen them, not with fear, but with love. Your story continues, every day, with every choice. May you walk forward, confident and free, into all the beauty still to come. As our journey draws to a close, I invite you to pause just for a breath and notice how you feel right now. Maybe there's a sense of hope, or curiosity, or perhaps a gentle resolve. Maybe you feel seen and heard, knowing that your experiences are shared by millions of others walking a similar path. Maybe you are already thinking of a small change you'd like to make to try a new recipe. A different breakfast, a walk in the afternoon light, or a quiet conversation with someone you trust. Before we part, let's remember what we have learned. Together, we have uncovered how the very things we once trusted, dextra vitamins, packaged foods, familiar routines, can quietly work against us, especially as our bodies change with age. We have explored the hidden dangers of too much vitamin A and D, of sugar's silent sabotage, of fried and processed foods that inflame and weigh down the legs, of bread and alcohol and snacks that, in excess, can sap our strength. We have unmasked the invisible world of additives and preservatives. And we have learned the subtle language of our own body, the whispers and warnings, the aches and heaviness that are not just symptoms, but invitations to pay attention. But, above all, we have found hope. Hope does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that aging is easy. It means believing in your body's capacity to adapt, to heal, and to flourish no matter how many birthdays you have celebrated. It means refusing to give in to despair or the myth that decline is your only destiny. Over the years, I have seen elders surprise themselves again and again by the power of small, thoughtful changes. I think of Mr. Corey, who spent years believing that leg pain was his punishment for growing older until he began swapping fried snacks for roasted pumpkin, sweet drinks for herbal teas, and instant noodles for simple home-cooked soups. Within months, his energy shifted. He walked further, laughed more, slept more soundly. He did not become young again, but he became more fully himself, engaged and joyful. Or Mrs. Jean, who thought giving up her daily bread would mean giving up comfort until she discovered the richness of whole grains and the pleasure of a well-built breakfast. She invited friends to try her new recipes, turning change into celebration. Their stories and countless others remind us that progress is not measured in leaps, but in steady steps. Some days will be easy, others will challenge your patience and resolve. What matters is not perfection, but persistence. What matters is kindness to your body, to your spirit, and to yourself as you go forward. Keep these gentle practices in your pocket, Listen before you act. Every symptom is a message. Tune in, honor what your body is telling you, and respond with care. Choose one thing at a time. Overhaul is overwhelming, but one swap, different bread, a new snack. A change in breakfast can change your momentum. Find joy in the journey. Let food be a source of delight, not anxiety. Celebrate small wins, share meals with others, and treat every positive choice as an act of love. Connect. You are not alone. Call a friend, join a group, talk with your doctor, share your successes and struggles. Healing is more powerful, more fun when shared. Move, rest, and repeat. Even gentle activity stretching, walking, gardening builds strength and confidence. Balance effort with rest. Both are medicine. And remember, there is beauty in every stage of life. Your legs have carried you through 1,000 stories. Your body is not your enemy. It is your lifelong companion, always ready to respond to care. Each meal, each step, each act of attention is a way to say thank you to yourself. As we close, I invite you to take action not out of fear, but out of curiosity and hope. Try one new thing this week. Share this message with someone you love. Start a conversation, a recipe swap, or a morning walk with a neighbor. Notice how your body responds. Write down your progress, and, most of all, celebrate each success. No matter how small. If you found this journey helpful, please let others know. Share the video, leave a comment about your experience, or simply tell a friend. Together, we can create a circle of support, a community of people choosing to age with vitality, courage, and kindness. The best days are not behind you. They are waiting in every small choice you make, every sunrise you greet, every step you take toward balance and joy. Thank you for your presence, your attention, and your willingness to walk this path with me. May your legs grow stronger, your days brighter, your spirit lighter, and your heart always open to the next beautiful chapter of your life. Let's keep moving forward together.